Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. What do I always say my investment thesis is? It's that utility matters and will win the day. Well, now comes a headline from dailyhodl.com titled, XRP will be one of the few crypto assets to survive, says Pantera CEO. Here's why. Keyword, few. Because out of over 5,000 cryptocurrencies in existence today, almost all of them will go the way of my favorite avian creature, the dodo, which is extinct. So Dan Morehead, he is the CEO, founder of Pantera, and he's a rather sharp individual. I was fortunate enough to see him speak live on stage at a blockchain conference in Los Angeles a couple years ago. He was there with a couple other names that you in crypto would probably be familiar with, including Tim Draper and Rand Neuner with CNBC. But I tell you, it's interesting here because it's not like he's some mega pro Ripple and XRP guy, but I mean he's pro that. Like he's definitely not against it. He's nowhere near being a troll. His focus is, I'd say, primarily, my understanding anyways, the focus is still primarily on Bitcoin, but he's happy to acknowledge the real world development that is occurring in large part thanks to Ripple actually being a fantastic cheerleader of the XRP ecosystem. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap that like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. If you'd be willing to take a moment to do that, it will tell YouTube that you don't completely hate this video, and the algorithm will then push it out to other people. It will help to grow the channel. So if so, I appreciate it. If not, thanks for stopping by. Regardless, I still appreciate you hanging out. And also go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because I mean, what the hell, it's free, right? So I got that going. I guess that's my sales pitch. It's free. There you go. All right, so Pantera, I want to mention this too. Pantera, they are the first US Bitcoin investment firm, period. So this is a hedge fund, and they're the first in the United States to jump into the world of crypto on an institutional level in this way. So they're pioneering the path, unquestionably. Now, Dan Morehead, the CEO, this is a picture of him right here. He was actually previously working at Goldman that's not correct, Goldman Sachs as a mortgage-backed securities trader, and he graduated magna cum laude from Princeton University. So clearly a sharp guy. I enjoy seeing him speak, even if it's not about Ripple and XRP. Anytime he's being interviewed, I enjoy hearing what he has to say. And so then there was this piece here, and this was from May 15th of this year. And this is titled, Pantera Capital Crypto Hedge Funds Are Losing Double Digits, but Bitcoin Fund is up 10,000% to date. So given a broad enough time, it looks fantastic, but you could narrow it down to any window and things look bad. But here's what was interesting, and I actually was not aware of this until today. But as far as the altcoin fund and everything else, and I'm going to read just a few sentences from this piece, it was actually it didn't become part of Pantera's portfolio until 2019. Check this out, and this includes XRP. From inception to the end of 2019, a Pantera Capital digital asset fund that trades a hodgepodge of free-floating virtual currencies like Ether, XRP, and Zcash lost 72.8%. An initial coin offering ICO fund, 42.2% under, lost roughly 3 times more than a long-term twin fund's 14.5% decline, and about $1 million to $5 million was allocated to each of Pantera's nearly 40 ICO deals and materials say. And so here's what I'd say. And look, I don't have a financial background. I'm not offering financial advice. Do not buy or sell because of me. But there's an understanding broadly when it comes to investing, whether you're an institutional investor or a retail investor, at least you should understand this in my opinion, that there's extreme volatility and you're probably not going to time the bottom. So it's better to just hold for the long haul. Now, this is also true in traditional asset classes like stocks, for example. Those that actively trade, literally 90% roughly of them end up losing money. And so history shows, and the information is available, but humans still don't change their behavior. They're just not aware. They can't handle the emotions associated with the volatility of stocks and crypto, and so they panic. And that I understand humans behave like that, so I just choose not to. But when you see the fund down, it's not like they're doing something horrendously wrong. I think that whoever's money he has collected that he's investing, as long as he's been perfectly transparent about the nature of all of this and everybody's educated, you can't avoid the volatility. So fine, it's bad when it goes down, but my gosh, if you hold it for the long haul, historically, we've seen that, oh gosh, it works in your favor, whether it's Bitcoin or XRP or pick your coin. The vast majority of them to this point. And I still think most of them are going to go the way of the dodo, but still. And so it's not, again, like they did something horrendously wrong, but I ultimately still firmly believe that utility matters and will win the day. And so even though it's true that today XRP and the altcoin market broadly are following Bitcoin, it won't always be like that. And so as far as their fund being down 72%, I was looking at... where did it go? Let's just do, here we do timeline all. I'm on livecoinwatch.com. And I was looking through here before I recorded the video. And so the fund, I don't know when it was started exactly, but it was in 2019. And XRP was around, 30 to 40 cents for a lot of the year. At one point, it actually peaked above 50 cents. And so as far as the 72% decline, some of that would have come from XRP, but it sounds like most of it would have come from other coins. It would have had to, because I don't think, depending on when they bought it, I don't think it would have been a 72% decline. But again, even with that, it's like you don't lose that and then panic sell if you're Pantera, right? Because that would be stupid. Then you lose it. But because I think that XRP, again, not offering financial advice, period, but I think XRP is going to be worth substantially more than it is today. And I do need to give a quick shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf, who sent this daily hodl piece my way. Thank you very much, my friend. I do appreciate it. And so let's get to this now, because there's some really cool quotes in here recognizing the real world adoption of XRP and the progress that Ripple has been making with RippleNet and just all their efforts in general. So check this out. Pantera CEO Dan Morehead believes XRP is one of only a handful of crypto assets that boast long-term sustainability. In a new interview with Thinking Crypto, Dan Morehead says Ripple, which owns more than half of the total supply of XRP and uses the cryptocurrency in one of its remittance platforms, is a highly productive member of the industry, whether everyone likes it or not. And I am going to have to take him to task with part of what he says. I think that part of what I'm going to take him to task on might come down to just a difference in definition, and so I'll explain what I mean. But let me read this quote from Dan Morehead first. I think Ripple has done a great job. They are one of the big enterprises in our business, and they have hundreds of engineers building a lot of code and shipping code, and they're doing it in a little bit of a different way. I know there's a lot of purists in our industry that get almost religious about, oh, it's not totally decentralized, or it's not whatever. It's the same thing with central banks. They're not decentralized, but we'll need that too, right? I see a world where we have 8 or 10 really important blockchains 10 years from now, and XRP is going to be one of them. That's exactly the way that I'm looking at this. I don't know how many cryptocurrencies ultimately are going to have true staying power for decades or hundreds of years, but you don't need 5,000 of them. And at some point, I don't know how long it's going to take. I would certainly hope he's right within the next 10 years that most of them, we figure it out by then. I don't know if that'll be the case. I certainly hope so. If I had to guess, if I were forced to, gun up my head, have to pick, I'd say, yeah, probably a lot of it would be figured out by then anyway. Maybe there's still a ton of cryptocurrencies. I don't know for sure. But, I have a little beef with what he stated here because, look, a lot of times in life when you have a disagreement with somebody, it could be on any topic, it could be the case that you're saying the same thing, but you have a different definition than the person that you're communicating with on a very key term. And so applied here, in the case of decentralization, do you consider a concentration to a certain degree of a cryptocurrency to define whether or not something is decentralized? I do not. I think that you need to differentiate between a distributed ledger like the XRP ledger, being decentralized versus a high concentration of XRP, in this case, in the hands of Ripple, which is different because it doesn't give Ripple any special permissions over the XRP ledger. Now, some people would say, no, that's part of centralization, and so I think that it needs to be parsed out more differently because when you're talking about decentralization, to me, it just makes more logical sense to be speaking specifically about the degree to which any particular blockchain is decentralized. To me, that makes a ton of sense, but not everybody's going to apply it that way. And so you can argue back and forth about whether it's or not it's decentralized, when really, if you sit there and say, okay, whoa, what do we really mean there? So wait, we agree that Ripple has a concentration of XRP, and we agree that Ripple doesn't have any special permissions over the XRP ledger. Yes. And then you can still agree on that and then argue about whether or not it's decentralized. And that just purely comes down to idiocy if you're not recognizing that it's just you're not agreeing on the definition of a term. So that could be it here. Not entirely sure, though. It could be that he's, despite the CEO of Pantera, maybe he's so uninformed. I hope this isn't the case, and I like this guy. But it could be the case, since he compared it to central banking here. Maybe he really doesn't know that Ripple controls 6 of the 36 validators on the network, which comes out to about 16%, which is not enough to have any sort of special control over the ledger. It just isn't. And so that would be factually incorrect if that's what he means. So it could be a difference of definition, or it could be that he literally doesn't know that. And my gosh, I hope that's not the case, because he's throwing money into XRP. Like, at least to know that, right? I hope so. But he's a real smart guy, so maybe it really is just the definition. But I'm not sure, because again, he threw in that thing about the central bank there. But he is recognizing the long-term viability of Ripple and XRP here. Now the piece continues. Pantera is an early investor in Ripple. Along 49 other blockchain startups, Moorhead says it's smarter to place multiple bets in the industry instead of hoping that one crypto company or coin takes over the whole market. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, maximalism makes no sense. It stinks. And actually, and also props to Dan for being brave enough to talk about how XRP has a future when it goes against the tide, basically, because I know us here in the XRP community, we get it, and we're informed, and we're not here for ideological reasons, but there are so many people that could turn sour on Dan Moorhead for just speaking his honest, positive opinion about Ripple and XRP. So I say kudos to him on that. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, Daily Hodl did mention that they're an investor in Ripple. I'm not aware of them actually investing in Ripple, the company. Now, normally these days I'm just replacing XRP when they incorrectly write Ripple. In this case, I mean, I guess they could have bought some Ripple on the secondary markets, possible, but I suspect they actually just mean XRP. Just, thought I'd mention that detail. But here's another quote from Dan Moorhead. I don't have the view a lot of people do in our space. Like, there's only one and only true heaven, and it has to be whatever it is, Ether or Bitcoin or whatever it is. They do different things, and it's kind of like in the early 90s being a Yahoo maximalist. Yeah, Yahoo is good. But there were 30 really important companies, and a portfolio should have had a little bit of all those. And that's the way I feel about cryptocurrencies. Each of the 8 or 10 that are going to exist in 10 years are going to do its own thing. Yes, thank you, exactly. And that's why it goes back to partly something I was mentioning in one of my videos just the other day, which is, it's only in part this, but it's not the case that the cryptocurrency with the best technology necessarily will be the one that takes hold. And you see this with other technologies, and I made an analogy the other day about the Betamax versus VHS cassette tapes in the 80s, right? And then another one, it didn't pop in my head at the time, but somebody put in the comments, and I was actually thinking about before I recorded it too, and it was a great comparison also. In the mid-2000s, you had HD DVD versus Blu-ray, and obviously Blu-ray won out there. And so it's not always the best technology that takes hold here, but standards do matter. And I've been saying that for about 2.5 years now, pretty much almost the entirety of the time I've been in the world of crypto. Standards actually matter. So if XRP ends up being sufficiently positioned as a bridge currency, and it's functionally there, it's in the plumbing, you've got it built out in a bunch of corridors, good luck coming in with another cryptocurrency and supplanting it. Good freaking luck. And so you're going to, and also, look, different cryptocurrencies have different technical attributes on layer 1, and that does matter, especially today, given that we don't really have pretty much anywhere, not entirely, but pretty much anywhere, we really don't have any solid layer 2 technologies. Not legitimate. I understand there's developers that have built stuff on top of blockchains, but a lot of the promise, especially if you think about Lightning Network with Bitcoin, it hasn't come to fruition here, right? And so having sufficient technology built into layer 1 allows XRP to take hold and become ingrained in the plumbing of the way that money moves around the planet. You can't do that with Bitcoin. I mean, you can try. You can build on top of the Bitcoin blockchain for the same use case that Ripple's positioning XRP for, but you're going to have a bad time, okay? Because it can only transact 5 to 7 what is it? It takes what? I can't remember the stats off the top of my head for some reason. My brain's clogged up right now. 5 to 7 transactions per second. That's what I was trying to say. Whereas with XRP blockchain, you get about 1,500 per second on chain. So there you go. And so this is a reasonable approach. There are going to be a number of coins that win for different use cases. And even if it is the case that 20 years from now you're like, hey, one coin could do all this, it doesn't matter because standards matter. And once they're ingrained, they're ingrained. But that's the way I look at it. But that is it for this video. Thank you very much for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.